So just want to start off by saying happy National Skills Trade Day. I know many on this webinar, you're part of the skills trades, and we really couldn't be more grateful for your hard work and dedication to your craft. So just want to start off by saying thank you. You guys help build the world around us, and we're extremely grateful for that. So thank you again. As far as an agenda for today, we'll do just some introductions. We'll get into a little bit of DA Dodd and share some of their history and let them talk about some of their fabrication efforts. They've grown heavily with their fabrication shop, and big part of that was technology. So how have they utilized technology to, help drive efficiencies, and a little bit about what's next for their fabrication. And then we'll open it up to a Q&A. So you guys do all have the option to submit questions. If you have any questions throughout, just feel free to submit them. We'll try to get to them as we can. But if for any reason we don't, we have some time at the end to address any questions. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to you, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm Anthony Burnett, Operations Manager here at Dodd. I graduated from Purdue in 2007 and then joined Dodd that same year as a project manager. I was elevated to my current position in May of 2020.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, Anthony. And Rob?
Yeah, I'm Rob Anthrop. So I started out in apprenticeship in 2004. I worked for Dodd as an apprentice for a couple of years, and then I came back in 2010. 2011, I started out as a foreman and came into the shop in 2019. I've been running the fab shop ever since.
Awesome. So I've had a little bit of a chance to get to know who our speakers are here today. And by the way, my name is Matt. I'll be just kind of helping moderate the session today. But we'd like to get a little to know a little bit about the audience on the call today. So I'm just launching up a poll right now. We're just curious what kind of company you're working for, what industry you're in, as well as what's your role with the company. So I'll give everybody some time to answer that, so we can get a sense of who was all on the call with us today. Alrighty, so just looking at the poll that we have, looks like we have about a good majority are in the mechanical industry, about half the people on the call, some mix of electrical, plumbing, industrial, a good chunk of others. As far as the roles, we have about half you are in leadership, good chunk of people from BIM, nobody from the shop floor, a little surprising, some field, and a good mix of others as well. So thank you everybody for answering that. That helps us understand who we're talking to today. So want to share a little bit about DA Dodd's company overview. Anthony, if you want to take that.
Yeah, we were founded in 1995 by Dave Dodd. In April of 2015, we were purchased by Manoj Ramathan. It's an investment arm of the Waukegan Band of Potawatomi Indians. And with that purchase, allowed us to become a certified MBE contractor in the state of Indiana and Chicago. We serve Indiana, Michigan. We are a plumbing, pipe fitting, sheet metal. And then we concentrate on new construction, higher education, residence halls, hotels, and our revenue is around 75 million.
Awesome, and I love this picture that you guys have of the original days. It's good looking crew right there. Now I know when we talked, one of the things that was apparent on your website as well is you guys are big about building partnerships ranging from, big universities to big national brands. Can you speak a little bit about what that means to you guys and how that's helped you?
Yeah, so we place value on building long-lasting partnerships with reputable brands and universities that has allowed us to grow. Some of our partners include Purdue University, Notre Dame, Four Winds and the local healthcare facilities. Yeah, really, that's how we've grown. We've put our locations in spots where there's universities and healthcare facilities to maintain the customers that we are growing with.
It's great. I think it's super important. You build these partnerships and you can create business for life. So the other thing that was really apparent from your website is you boast, the affiliations you're a part of. Can you speak a little bit about, how these affiliations help you guys as well?
Yeah, we see them as a critical component for our business and our contractor peer network. We also participate on a lot of the boards and committees at these associations. We utilize the MCA Fabrication Conference to keep connected with M-Suite and watch the product develop over the last 2 years before we actually jumped in last fall.
Yeah, you guys were quick to join and get going, which is exciting, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Now, I know we want to hear a little bit about your fabrication shop and a little bit of an overview of how you guys got to where you are.
Yeah, so we opened up a shop in 2003, and that was originally in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We relocated that shop in 2018 down here to Lafayette. The Lafayette shop is a UA certified fab facility. When they opened up Michigan, the shop was focused on weld fabrication and stands and hangers of sorts. When we opened up here in Lafayette, we changed that focus to what can we, not what are we going to fab, but what can we not fab? So we fab everything here. So we do hangers, piping, fixtures, you name it, we build it here. And it went very well. The first projects we did, the Purdue Meredith South and 3rd Street, those we fabbed everything for it. We did the underground, all the sanitary risers, the storm, hydronic piping, domestic, you name it. I mean, you couldn't have seen anything on that job that wasn't fabbed. And Notre Dame is the same way.
It's awesome that you guys were able to fabricate that many different trades with those multi-trade skids. So good to hear. Now let's kind of identify the elephant in the room. Excel spreadsheets, it's something that's still very prevalent in the industry today. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys transition from those spreadsheets.
So the spreadsheet you see up here on the screen, this is what I used from 2019 until December of last year when we started using M-Suite. Everything on this spreadsheet here is manually entered. So the systems, the levels, all that stuff is typed in manually by me. The statuses were updated by me. So when I was, ordering material, the status would say ordered. And when it's in fabrication, that whole line across there would be highlighted in green. If it was stored here at the shop, it would be highlighted in yellow. It was quite an undertaking. There's a lot of time spent in entering all this data. It was a SharePoint file, so the foreman on the job, it was shared with him so he could see what we were working on. But again, all this still had to be entered in by hand.
And what kind of issues did that cause for you guys?
It was a lot to keep track of if you're doing several jobs. Hoping you don't forget to enter something in. Making sure that you got the correct dates in there. There's a lot to keep up with it, especially since you had to enter it in manually.
And this was something as well that you, Rob, were updating yourself. You weren't really having guys on the floor per se update any of these fields.
No, absolutely not. It was it was just me.
Certainly can cause some headaches and things slipping through the cracks ultimately. Which brings us to, your discovery of technology for your fabrication shop. Can you share a little bit about, what you were looking for and how you discovered some of the fab shop technology you're using today?
Yeah, so we were looking at bringing technology in. So we were kind of courting M Suite quite a while, like I said, at the MCA Fabrication Conference. We kept that connection and constant communication there. So we were looking at the vision and growth of you guys, the company that we were going to ultimately use. We wanted the comprehensive tracking component of it, and then also some analytics and the focus on the throughput, the flexible setup with our customized workflows, and then really on-site training and support. If we had questions or needed quick responses, we knew that you guys would be able to do it. So, and then another part of that is when we went through and before we purchased, we wanted to discuss how we were going to implement it. And we talked about the timeline to implement it and got that agreed upon before we went in and started the training and implementation process.
I think that's really important. You guys identified the timeline you needed before even deciding to invest in technology. You knew you needed something up quick, and you guys were able to get started very quickly, but you had a checklist that you went in to your evaluation to help you make a decision. I think that's very important for people to have that checklist and make sure that your vendor that you're seeking out is checking most, if not all, of the boxes. Now let's talk about the BIM side of the house. Can you share a little bit about how the BIM implementation went?
Yeah, so we actually relied on kind of a third party peer contractor for our BIM design, and then we decided when we were going to bring on M Suite that we wanted to bring that in-house. So it was kind of nice to have the BIM implementation at the same time that we were bringing BIM in-house. So when I talked to our BIM department, they talked about how there was rapid training sessions once a week for 4 weeks. 3 of those sessions were M Suite driven, and then there one on Hanger Works. Every session included training slides that had web links that they can get to and refer back to when they were trying to actually do the process and learn how to work through M Suite on the BIM side. They continue to use the knowledge base articles in the search function on M Suite. So that, it's really an easy process, and M Suite makes it easy to continue to learn as you grow with the product.
Was there any initial concerns or pushback from the BIM side of your fabrication that, this is a new technology we need to learn? Did you guys have any of that initial pushback?
We didn't, especially with bringing BIM on at the same time of implementing this. It kind of eliminated those kind of questions and issues.
It's great. I think, we're always going to get a little bit of pushback to using a new technology, adopting a new technology, and we'll talk a little bit more about overcoming things in the shop floor as well. So, Rob, can you share a little bit about the shop floor implementation?
Yeah, so when we implemented it, I went through quite a few training sessions, a lot of online. I believe it was 8 to 10 trainings. Jordan is our apprentice that's out in the shop that helps out with all of our software. He sat in the training with me, so that way he learned the iPad and app version of it, and I learned the desktop that Anthony and I both use. a lot of the training sessions went over the workflows, how to set up workflows. They went really well. It's a lot at first, but once you get through it, it goes really well. When we implemented it in here, we had my training sessions, and then towards the end, we had 2 to 3 with the guys from the shop. So all of the shop came in, we did online training for 2 sessions. And then we also had in person for 2 days. So M Suite actually came to our shop and worked one-on-one with our guys for 2 days. Which was really, really nice. And we were supposed to have training in December, which got pushed back because somebody had a personal emergency. So we couldn't have our training in December, but we went ahead and started using it anyway, which was very nice because when M Suite did come in January, we had a lot more questions and a lot better questions. So when they got here, our guys were already up and running with it. And some of the concerns that they had were addressed at that time. So our guys are running seamless right now. We did have the field start using it, and our field guys came in and worked with the shop guys for their training session. So they came in for half a day and worked side by side with the guys in the shop, and they had somebody there constantly helping them to make sure that they got it.
I think that's crucial. You guys ultimately enabled your guys on the floor to be so powerful with it that they were able to train others on it. And so that allows them to take ownership. A couple questions here. Do you think you would have been able to get up and running as quick as you did if it weren't for having someone dedicated for troubleshooting and some of the light training you did on the shop floor with Jordan?
No. Jordan's been a critical asset in getting this up and going. You definitely need to have one person that really knows what's going on out there on the floor and that can help everybody else. So you definitely have to have your champions.
And so now that guys on the shop floor are entering data into a solution like M Suite, what sort of, I guess, analytics or insights is that giving you guys now that in the back office?
So with the analytics side, we haven't started focusing on that too much right now, just because with the work packages that are going through there, it's becoming smarter and smarter. But we haven't driven enough information to that to tie it back into our estimating like we want to. So that's ultimately what we're going to use that analytics for, is tying it back to our estimating side. But with the bulk of information and the process that we have going out there right now, it's not enough to get that data that we need.
And I will say, when we did start this out on the shop floor, you sometimes do get a little pushback with guys that are used to just looking at PDF style drawings, to where they can just go through each sheet and they're not having to check things off like they do in M Suite. But some of their concerns we've addressed, and I think it's kind of a unique way. So on M Suite, you can put the package map for like all your spool, how your spools are going in. We actually put all of our spool drawings on that side as well. So when a guy finishes up a spool and it moves on to the next station, he can no longer see it. Well, with us putting the spools over with the package map, they can still go back and forth and see the other spools that they're wanting to see in case something didn't jive, or they catch something on their end. So being able to work it like that and really listen to the guys and help them out makes it go a lot smoother too.
And that was one of the items that when they came on site and communicated with our shop employees is putting that package together and creating that so they could see that product if it disappeared from their station. That was one of the recommendations from our shop.
So in essence, they're only seeing what they need to see. They're not overwhelmed with information.
Yeah,
And I know you guys took a little bit of a unique approach as well in that, you know, you mentioned you allowed for a lot of feedback. How was that critical? I know you mentioned a couple pieces there, but how is it critical to get up and running by allowing that initial feedback from guys in the shop?
you don't take their feedback, you're not gonna get their buy-in. If you listen to them and they see you making adjustments on what they recommended, you are gonna get better buy-in and it's gonna happen faster.
And then just lastly, you know, you mentioned it's helped you become a little more paperless. I don't know if you guys are tracking, you know, how much less paper you're using, but can you speak a little bit about how that's helped the shop as well?
Yeah, so with paper, the problem with paper is when you're running it through the shop and drawings change, you have to go out in the shop and make sure that every old drawing is thrown away and they're not working on that. So without using paper and being, you know, digital the way it is, we can go in with the click of a button and delete all the old and put the new in, and they have no choice but to look at the new. So then you don't have to worry about something getting fabbed wrong because they did it to the old drawing.
Very important. And I did just get a question I just want to address. Abdul Rahman asked to get a little more information regarding the training, what type of training materials you got to start. I'll follow up with you after the webinar and provide some of that. Don't want to pull any of that up and get all technical right now, but we'll make sure to get that over to you so you know what you could expect when you're coming on board, what sort of training material you're going to get to start. Now, how about the field? I know you mentioned you brought the field guys in and allowed the shop to kind of train them on how the system actually works, but what are some of the benefits that your field is getting from this?
So the field is able to see the work in progress. So the foreman out on the job site, he is in M Suite. He can see where we're at in the shop, what station it's at, if it's been QA QC'd, all that. And we've actually went one step further with that. And we have a loaded in shop stage through our workflows to where it gets loaded onto the truck. They have a received in on site. So the guy on site actually receives all of the spool drawings. They have an installation stage to where they're installing it in the field so we can track that progress, as well as QA QC in the field, meaning it's all installed. And then the last stage that is on those workflows would be field test. So that means that whole system is tested and it's good. And then it's still giving us the tracking of it and how much time it's taking us at each station. So how long it's taking us to install it in the field, QA QC in it, how long it's taking us to test it. So we're getting all those numbers as well.
And before using M Suite, how were you tracking that? Was it just a word of mouth? How were they tracking that install?
Exactly that, word of mouth.
Yeah, foreman, communicating back, highlighting drawings, continually walking the project to see the progress.
Yeah.
And then you would ultimately take that and enter it back into that fancy dancy spreadsheet we were looking at earlier.
Well, actually, the spreadsheet stopped once it got loaded on the truck and was out on the job site. I actually stopped tracking it after that, so I didn't go that far.
So would you say then that with technology, you guys have a kind of a better feedback loop all the way through the project from not just the fabrication, but also the field as well?
100%, yes.
That's great. Now, I know the big thing that a lot of people fear in our industry is, technology seems great. It could help us a lot, but it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of manpower to get things up and running, especially to get things up and running the way our unique business needs. So you guys were able to get started real quick, one of the fastest that we've seen. What really helped with that time to value?
So I think one of the biggest things is the support that we had from M-Suite from the initial start. They knew how critical that timeline was. They agreed to it, and they put their resources together with ours to make it happen. We understood and received advice from a peer contractor that already used M-Suite. We also had them as our third-party BIM designer, so that helped with the process too.
Yeah, as we were doing training, they were actually previous jobs that we've done with them. They still had files for us, so they were actually able to push those through M-Suite to us for us to use as training.
And then I know you guys noted that you did receive that advice from a peer contractor. What can you share about that experience, and what was some of the advice that you could share that they gave you?
Some of the advice that they gave us is really how easy the process was and the benefits of the product. And how they knew our workflow and how our company worked because they work with us on the design side. So they knew how seamlessly it would come in to our workflows already. So that was the biggest advice that they gave us.
That's great. I think, we work in a competitive industry, but at the end of the day, we're all fighting towards the same goal. And so the more that we can uplift each other with, support, advice, etc., that the stronger we become as a whole.
Something else that we've done that has also helped us out is we've made M-Suite like our main platform for the shop and the field. So not only are we putting the spool drawings on M-Suite on the package map, we are actually putting the spool map, the spools, and the install drawings over there. So when our guys in the field are putting this in, they have the install drawings already in M-Suite as well. So they're only going to M-Suite too. So they're not going to separate platforms to find their drawings. And they don't have paper out there either. They're all working off iPads as well.
It's important, if you're bouncing around to multiple places to try to track down answers, it's just ultimately a time waste, and now they can focus on more important value-added tasks. So, well, good stuff. Share a little bit about customized workflows. I know, spool mapping was a big thing for you guys, but what are some of the benefits of having customized workflows?
So with this, with the workflows, if it's copper, steel, any of the different materials, whatever stations you have designated for that to go to in the workflows, you just have to set up your parameters, your conditions for those materials to go to the different stations. So like the bandsaw, that would be having steel go to it, but then copper would go to a copper cutting station. So when it looks at those conditions and it sees that this is copper pipe or this is steel pipe, M-Suite already knows where that material needs to go. If it says there's a thread on the end of that pipe, it automatically knows it needs to go get threaded. So by setting up all those conditions really helps out with that, and can really tell where the work needs to go, and it automatically splits it up through the software. It also lets us track the welds. It numbers the welds on the spool drawings for us. It's really nice to have. not everything can, not everything that's drawn through BIM has to go on there. I put a lot of stuff on there that's not coordinated. A lot of hand sketches that get sent in from the field, I just upload them. And we actually have a part that we put to them, like it just says spools. If I put that, that says there's a work item that's associated with that drawing. So it goes through and it hits all the stations in whatever workflow I assign to it. So hangers, equipment skids, bathroom pods, anything like that, it automatically, I can assign that and it'll go through. And we don't get how long it takes us for each individual item, but we do get the time that it takes us to do the overall. So I might not know how long it takes me to do 1 3-inch hanger, but if there was 400 3-inch hangers on that package, I know how long it took me to do the whole package.
And so it sounds like one big thing for you guys is just flexibility, even if it
Absolutely.
doesn't come from BIM design, the ability to just upload, like you said, a hand sketch, which is still going to happen regardless of how much technology you implement. So that flexibility sounds like it's been huge for you guys. And now I want to hear a little bit too about organizing your shop floor. I know, you invest so much in these large facilities, and we obviously want to have a perfect flow through the shop, but sometimes that's difficult. So how have you guys, or what sorts of trends or things have you utilized to organize your shop floor?
So everything in our shop is on wheels. I don't have anything bolted down except the stuff in the weld booth. Everything else is on wheels. And the reason why is with our shop size, I need to be able to move if I need to do certain projects. So our copper assembly stations, hanger assembly, all that stuff is on wheels. So if I need to, I can move it out and I can be ready to do something else that might be a little bigger, that's going to take up a little more room. So I'm able to switch gears. And I mean, it's important to be able to do that depending on how big your space is. Ours, we're in about 10,000 square feet. So we're busting at the seams right now. So it's important that I'm able to be flexible with the space. Right now, I'm actually rearranging the shop at the moment just to mess with the workflow to see if maybe it'll make it a little more efficient, which as you're setting up the shop, and even if it's already been set up, I mean, you don't want to be afraid to move it around. I mean, maybe if you move it, it'll help. And if you don't, it don't. I mean, you can always put it back, but I would say don't be afraid to change it. I mean, you change your technology. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't change where your stations are at in your shop.
And I think with M-Suite too, it helped us with them coming and understanding how our shop is set up and how to help us design our custom workflows and how it flows through our shop and our space.
Yeah. And it definitely helps because M-Suite does help you find your choke points too. So if you have stuff that's getting slowed down in a certain station, you can go evaluate that and see what do we need to do to change that to help make that station more efficient.
Well, we're glad that M-Suite was able to help with you guys identifying the optimal workflow there. Obviously, we can maximize the efficiency, and like I said, it's a big investment, a shop. So want to make sure you're getting the most out of that investment. So I know we've been talking for a little bit here. Want to get to know a little bit more about how the audience is handling things. So just give me 1 second. So curious to see how the audience is tracking fabrication. You know, are you still using a lot of those spreadsheets and back and forth email? Do you have an actual, dedicated fabrication software like an M Suite that you're using? Are you still relying on pen and paper? It could be a mix of all these, but primarily how are you guys tracking your fabrication? I'll give everybody another 30 seconds or so to answer that. And as they're answering that, we are kind of approaching the Q&A portion. So if you do have any questions, please make sure to submit them and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can. Give everybody a little bit longer here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up that poll. So looks like about 50% of the audience is still relying on email and Excel. So sure there's some familiarity with some of the struggles that Rob mentioned, things potentially slipping through the cracks and a lot of manual entry. About a quarter of you are using a dedicated solution, so kudos to you. You've embraced technology and hopefully you're seeing some of the benefits that we've talked about here today. Pen and paper, looks like about a quarter of you are still using pen and paper, which comes as no surprise. It's still going to be common. It's still going to be almost inevitable and impossible to overcome, but getting to a paperless world is, where the industry is moving. So thank you everybody for answering that. Now I'm just curious to hear, what's kind of next for DA Dodd with your fabrication? What do you guys have that you see coming in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, obviously with us at 10,000 square feet, we're currently looking for a larger facility to house and allow us to grow even more with the fabrication. And then we also are making a push into having fabrication be direct sell to consumers with different fabrication offerings. So that it'll be its own income driven department. Other trends, I think Rob, you talked about robotics is going to be a big one with the actual shop.
Yeah, I could see a lot of CNC stuff coming in the future for pipe work or pipe fab. We already see it with the plasma tables and things like that, so I could definitely see more of that coming.
Certainly. We often see videos of things like the robotic dogs and whatnot, but we know that robotics is coming. Being able to help with some of the minute tasks that aren't as value driven in the industry is certainly on the horizon. So appreciate you guys sharing a little bit there. So at this point, we want to really open it up to you guys in the audience. Any questions that you might have, feel free to go ahead and submit them, and we'll go ahead and get to them as they come in. So first question, what advice would you give another contractor about finding the right tech solution?
I would say ask others in your network, get their opinion, and then challenge the software product and see where they're going to be, what they're going to do in the future, and give them a deadline and what you're expecting out of their product and see what their response is.
That's great. What now that you guys are able to track projects from BIM all the way to field install, what have you learned?
We don't have a delay in information now. So since all of the spool drawings and the installs are attached with the workflow, it's moving seamlessly through the software out to the field. So it's not, hey, this didn't get uploaded to this software, so now we don't have it. So now it just flows straight from the BIM department through the shop and out to the field.
Kind of completing that feedback loop, which is pivotal to help you, and ultimately, as you get into the analytics side, help drive more competitive bids, it sounds like too. Let's see. Give everybody another minute or two in case there's any other questions you want to submit. Okay. It's a little more technical, so if you guys can't answer, no worries, but we had a question. What would be an answer to outside engineering firms requiring AutoCAD drawings? If you don't know, no worries, but
Yeah, I'm trying to picture where that question would be going. I mean, they could do that through this whole process. They can just change, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where the question's going actually to give a good response.
no worries. We'll make sure. Daniel, I believe you asked that. We'll make sure to follow up with you with any specific questions that you might have as it relates. What's the best way to ease into BIM?
I think they're,
No, that's
I don't
I
think
don't
they're
know if they're
into it.
Yeah, I think you have to be all in or nothing with them.
Yeah,
That philosophy with the company. I think you can't ease into it. You have to go all in.
yeah.
And then looks like we got one more here. For someone who is new into fabrication field, what do I need to know to read these files? I think they're referring to maybe some of the Revit files going through the system. So if you're new to fabrication, is there anything your guys in the shop need to know to be able to read that, or is it all just straightforward? Here's what you need to do at your station and so forth.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. So yeah. They have their drawing names on the left side of the screen, their drawing in the middle, and then all the parts and pieces at the right-hand side. And the right-hand side is what they're clicking on and hitting a check mark that they've done it. So it's pretty straightforward.
And then we'll get one more here. Are you surprised or amazed at technology in 2024 as opposed to where technology was, say, 5 years ago?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the growth of technology in the last 5 years is exponential from where it was.
I am surprised at the growth in technology in construction. Just construction itself in the last 5 years. The amount of layout that they're doing now compared to what they were 5 years ago is, I mean, they now have something that lays the walls out on the floor for you. So, yeah, it's impressive.
Well, all great questions. Thank you everyone for submitting those. If we didn't get an answer to any of your questions, feel free to follow up with myself. Here's my email if you need to jot that down. Or remember, everybody here will get a recording of this webinar. You'll receive a follow-up email that you can respond to as well with any questions, anything like that. But I do just want to take a moment to say huge thanks to Anthony and Rob for joining us and sharing some of the experiences that you guys have learned over the time at DA Dodd. Again, happy National Skills Trade Day to all of you on the call. Thank you for all your efforts, and this is a great time. We'll follow up. And again, if you have any questions, it's matt.wilson@sbdinc.com. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining.